Hello, I'm Jerry Michael Grimes, and welcome back if you are joining me again, and welcome for the first time if this is our first engagement into a series of excerpts from my work that I'm reading, which is entitled Anger Anthem, a Brief and Impractical Guide to Girls, Guns, God, Grace, and Other Guttural Matters. I'm going to be reading just a brief excerpt here, and I thank you for tuning in. Even with the paranoia and the fights to protect the freedom of speech in my country of birth, the United States, we make a remarkable allowance for persons to express a wide range of opinions, as long as those persons are willing to bear the ridicule that accompanies those opinions. The Reverend Dr. Jerry Falwell was rather well known for outspokenness, but he too should be credited with a willingness to be openly engaged with dissenting voices and opinions. When Bill Maher lambasts Liberty University and makes light of Dr. Falwell's passing, never does he mention that he and Dr. Falwell shared a basic mutual respect for one another, as witnessed during Dr. Falwell's appearance on Politically Incorrect. Mr. Maher and so many other media personalities more aligned with the left never had to schedule interviews with Dr. Falwell's assistant or press secretary, but had direct access to Dr. Falwell via cell phone. Rarely, if ever, does anyone mention Dr. Falwell's openness to meeting with leaders of the LGBT community who wanted to personally voice their disdain with Dr. Falwell's rhetoric and positions. When protesters picketed outside of Thomas Road Baptist Church during a Lynchburg cold winter, Dr. Falwell had no compunction about inviting the protesters into the vestibule of the edifice to warmly continue their protest, replete with blankets and hot cocoa. A United States Senator, as far left as the renowned Edward M. Kennedy, was not only a guest at Dr. Falwell's home, but was invited to speak at Liberty University. While Senator Kennedy was solidly pro-choice and Dr. Falwell doggedly pro-life, Dr. Falwell permitted the Liberty University debate team to argue in favor of abortion when necessary, resulting in criticism from the religious right. There are still a number of black pastors leading congregations throughout Virginia today, pastors whose education was subsidized by Liberty University, as Liberty distinguished itself from the racial legacy of institutions such as Bob Jones University. The behind closed doors friendships that former President Bill Clinton, Senator Edward M. Kennedy, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson shared with Dr. Falwell are indicative of the extent to which the media oversimplifies and truncates public figures, ultimately reducing their personhood to mere nothingness. It is tragic that many of the people who attack Dr. Falwell's legacy and debase Liberty University are engaging in the same type of prejudicial, vitriolic practices for which they denounce this man and this prestigious institution of higher learning. To this point, despite my appreciation that I shared in earlier chapters of what I consider to be the courage of Christopher Hitchens to speak as he did on matters of religion, even I found his remarks on Fox News immediately following the passing of Dr. Falwell to be unnecessary and more self-denigrating than anything else. However, I would have to be the most repugnant and confusing type of human being of all to find redemptive qualities in both Dr. Falwell and Mr. Hitchens. Withstanding advocacy for violence and anarchy, I am a great admirer of charisma, even if I find the principles to which a charismatic figure is dedicated disagreeable with my own principles. I call this admiration, barring extreme conditions. For innumerable reasons, I both respect and admire the Reverend Dr. Jerry Falwell. And at the same time, I also feel free to express my respect for persons such as Mr. Maher, Mr. Hitchens, and even the Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright, Jr. Just a short excerpt. I look forward to sharing some more with you, and I thank you for tuning in. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.